In this lecture, we'll be discussing another problem from regular languages and finite automata, and this problem is from GATE 2009. So let's see what is this problem. So it says, which of the following languages over the alphabet 01 is described by the regular expression given over here? So we have a regular expression given over here, and below we have four options which are descriptions of the language, and we have to find out which of these descriptions correctly describes the regular expression given over here. So the regular expression is 0 plus 1 star 0, 0 plus 1 star 0, and 0 plus 1 star. And the options that we have are, the first option is the set of all strings containing the substring 0, 0, and the second option is the set of all strings containing at most 2 zeros, and the third option is the set of all strings containing at least 2 zeros, and the fourth option is the set of all strings that begin and end with either 0 or 1. Alright, now let us try to analyze this regular expression and try to find out what this actually means. So first of all, in the first part we have 0 plus 1 star. So what is the meaning of 0 plus 1 star? 0 plus 1 means 0 or 1, and star means the closure. So closure means it can be 0 or 1, and it can have any number of zeros or 1s, or it can also be no zeros or 1s. So closure means either 0 or more number of that particular thing. So 0 plus 1 closure means it can have 0 or 1, any number of it or none of it. So that's what it means. Then we have another 0 here. So this 0 has to be there. So it does not have any plus symbol or closure symbol. So this 0 means this 0 will be there. And then again we have 0 plus 1 closure, which is similar to this. That means 0 or 1, which can be any number of it or none of it. And then again we have another 0 here without any plus or closure symbol. So which means that this 0 has to be there for sure. And then we again have 0 plus 1 closure, which is the same as these first two that we have discussed. That means any number of zeros or 1 or none of it. Alright, now we understood what this regular expression means. Now let us look at these options and try to figure out which of the descriptions correctly describe this regular expression. So the first option is the set of all strings containing the substring 0, 0. So we see that in this it can obviously contain the substring 0, 0. Like from here, let's say that we got a 0 from here, and this 0 will be there for sure. So 0, 0 substring will be there. But it can also contain other substrings. Like for example, if you get 1 over here, then you get 1, 0. So there are many other substrings that can be formed apart from 0, 0 as well. So option A is not correct. It is not the set of all strings containing only the substring 0, 0, but it can also contain other substrings. So option A is out of our consideration. Now let's come to option number B. So option B says the set of all strings containing at most 2 zeros. So it says the set of all strings that contains at most 2 zeros. So what do we mean by at most? The term at most means maximum. Alright, so at most 2 zeros means it should have maximum of 2 zeros. And what is the meaning of maximum of 2 zeros? Maximum of 2 zeros means not more than 2 zeros. So that is what the term at most means. So not more than 2 zeros. That is what we mean by option number B. Now let us try to analyze this regular expression and see. So here we see that we have 0 plus 1 star. So closure of 0 plus 1. So let's say that, for example, we got a 0 from here. So let's say that we got a 0 from here, and see, it's 0 plus 1. That means 0 or 1. So I can get either 0 or 1. So let's say that we got a 0 from here. It is accepted. Then this 0 over here has to be there for sure. So this 0 will be there anyhow. And then from here we again have 0 or 1. You can get either 0 or 1 or none of it. That is what we mean by 0 plus 1 closure. So let's say that, for example, we did not get anything from here. And then we come to the next one, which is 0 again. So this 0 has to be there for sure. It does not have any plus symbol. It does not have any closure. It is there by itself. So that means this 0 has to be there for sure. Then again we have 0 plus 1 closure. So here also you can either get 0 or 1 or nothing. So let's say that we got a 0 from here again. So let's say that this string is something that is generated by this regular expression and it is going to be accepted by this. And here we see that we are having 4 number of zeros. But what did the option say? The set of all strings containing at most 2 zeros. At most 2 zeros means maximum 2 zeros or not more than 2 zeros. But we see that we are getting 4 zeros and this is a string that is accepted by this regular expression. So we see that option number B is also wrong. Now coming to the third option, that is option number C, it says the set of all strings containing at least 2 zeros. Now what is the meaning of at least 2 zeros? Whenever you have the term at least, it means minimum 2 zeros. So whenever you have the term at least, you should understand that what it means is minimum. That means at least 2 zeros means minimum 2 zeros. So minimum 2 zeros means you can have either 2 zeros or more than 2 zeros. That is what we mean by minimum. But it should not be less than 2 zeros. Whenever we say minimum, it should not be less than the given number. So here it means not less than 2. That's what it means over here. So the set of all strings containing at least 2 zeros means it should have minimum 2 zeros. That means not less than 2 zeros. Now let us analyze our expression again and see if this can be correct. Here we see that 0 plus 1 closure. So as I told you, it can be 0 or 1 or nothing. That is the meaning of closure. So we can have either 0 or 1 or nothing from here. Alright, and now let's come to this 0. This 0 here is by itself and it is not having any plus symbol attached to it, or it is not even having the closure. So this 0 means it has to be there for sure. So this 0 is going to be there for sure. And then we have 0 plus 1 closure again, which is same as what we discussed. So here we can have 0 or 1 or nothing. It can be either 0 or 1 or nothing from here. And then again we have another 0 which is similar to this 0 without any plus or closure symbol. So which means that this 0 also has to be there for sure. It will be there anyhow. And then we have again 0 plus 1 closure, which is similar to what we have discussed before. So from here we can either get 0 or 1 or nothing. So we see that from these parts, from here, here and here, we are not sure what we will get. We may get 0, but these 2 zeros are going to be there for sure. So we see that these 2 zeros are going to be there for sure in this language or in any string that is generated by this regular expression. So we see that minimum 2 zero should be there. So at least 2 zeros are going to be there in this regular expression. So this option says the set of all strings containing at least 2 zeros. So at least 2 zeros are going to be there for sure in any string that is generated by this regular expressions. So it will never be less than 2 zeros, but it could be more than 2 zeros. Like for example, this string that was generated, it is having more than 2 zeros, but not less than 2 zeros. So the set of all strings containing at least 2 zeros is a correct description for the regular expression that is given over here. So this is the right option. Now we have got the right option, but anyway, let us just discuss the last option that is given as well. So it says the set of all strings that begin and end with either 0 or 1, which means that if a string begins with 0, it has to end with 0. And if the string begins with 1, it also has to end with 1. So that is what it means by this last statement. But let us see if this is true or not. Here let's say that it begins with 0 or 1. So we can get 0 over here. But in the ending, also you can have either 0 or 1. So it can also end with 1. So it is not true. And in the next case, let's say that it began with 1. So if it begins with 1, it has to end with 1. That's what the option says. But we see that it can also end with 0 because at the ending we have 0 or 1. So it can also get 0 over here. And in case, suppose you don't get anything from here because this is a closure, here you have a 0. So it can also end with a 0 even if it begins with 1. So we see that this option number D is not true. So it can begin with 0 and end with 0. It can begin with 1 and end with 1, but not in all cases. It can also begin with 0 and end with 1, and also it can begin with 1 and end with 0. So the set of all strings that begin and end with either 0 or 1 is false. So this is also the wrong description. So we say that option number C is the right description for this regular expression, the set of all strings containing at least 2 zeros. So this is how you can analyze the regular expression and find out the correct description for it. So an alternative way of doing this is you can make the DFA for this regular expression using the conversion of regular expression to finite automata that we have discussed in the previous lectures. And after designing the finite automata, you can pass some example strings based on the options that is given, and you can see whether it will be accepted or not. But that is going to take a lot of time if you try to do that. And in competitive exams like GATE, time management is very important. So this is the short and easy way of doing it. So I hope this was clear to you. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.